Barrier Fencing Supply is a fencing wholesaler and distributor based out of Supply, North Carolina. Whether you need fencing, fencing products, fencing accessories, or various other construction materials related to your fencing needs, we have the products you are looking for at today's most competitive prices around. Ask us today about bulk pricing packages. Call 910-269-8661. Contact us by email at sales@barrierfencingproducts.com. Barrier Fencing Supply, proud supporter of the Voice of Victory Lane podcast. Hey, good evening, race fans, and welcome back to another exciting inside edition of the Voice of Victory Lane podcast with Kip Thompson. We just heard from one of our show sponsors, Barrier Fencing Supply out of Supply, North Carolina. We're super proud to have them a part of our show. And also tonight's show is brought to you part by Adwell Exterior Services out of Greenville, North Carolina. And we're going to hear from them as we close out tonight's show. Tonight, we have a first-time guest. He's out of Lumberton, North Carolina. He's the driver of the number 40 Clayton Homes Cox Flooring 602 late model. It is Zach Cox. Man, Zach, good evening. Welcome to tonight's show, man. We're super excited to have you.
Thank you, man. Nice to be with y'all.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Saturday night, man. You know, sometimes things run late at a racetrack, but for you, I always like to say, hey, you saved the best to last. It did work out in that fashion for you, man, because you had that number 40 on kill Saturday night. And congratulations not only on the win, but also on capturing your first win of the 2023 season, man. Your car was hooked up Saturday night at Fayetteville.
Yeah, man. Thank you. We've been fighting the car, having a trouble on entering the corner for the last 2 or 3 months. Man, we've been back and forth, trying this, trying that. Had plenty of speed down the straightaway. Just like once taking tenths off here and there, man. On that crate stuff, when you're having to hit that brake entering the corner, man, it just kills the momentum. And we finally got the car rolling pretty good. We been talking back and forth with Rocket and one of my buddies named Kevin. Just, you know, putting stuff together, what he says, what they said, and what we think. And, man, it come out to the good Saturday night.
Yeah, you know, Zach, whenever you talk about, you know, a tenth, you know, you lose a tenth here, you lose a tenth there. It can be a bad feeling to be on the wrong side of that tenth that you're off. It can make a huge difference in your performance at a race.
Yes, sir. Race with my son, you know, he started in go-karts when he was 6-year-old. And, you know, I learned so much through that, and I applying it to our stuff because, you know, them crate motors, they don't really have much power. So you got to free them up so much to have it, but you can't over free it. So, man, it's just, I enjoy it. It's something that we really starting to enjoy doing. And we think we're going to do a lot more of the crate racing.
Well, you know, crate racing has grown. You know, when we started it at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway to begin with, it was a little slow. And I remember telling Dave Mitchell, you know, we go to this 602 late model racing, man, if it ever catches on, like the 602 Sport Mod, you know, the crate modifieds, man, if it ever catches on like that, you know, with the late models, it's really, really going to be a big thing. And, man, for this year, man, we've had a great car count every single time you guys have been there all year long.
Man, that's the truth. If y'all, every time we go to Fayetteville, and I mean, other tracks, I don't know where they go, but y'all, man, it's like 18, 20 cars every single week. And, man, that's good. And especially Fayetteville, they got a huge car count, man. And the competition at Fayetteville is like best of the world. I mean, people come from all over the world to Fayetteville. They know the Fayetteville boys are going to be somebody to attend with.
But no doubt about that. You just took the words right out of my mouth. When you start talking about, you know, everyone worries about all the time, you know, car count. How many cars you going to have, man? How many 602s you think you're going to have? Well, two things we have. We have a really good car count, and so that goes for the quantity that you're looking for. But, man, the quality of drivers that we have in that class is, man, it's untouchable anywhere else in my book.
Man, that's the truth. You got some of the best drivers in the world right here at home, man. I mean, you look. I mean, Dalton Wilson. Look how far he's gone, and I mean that just shows you, man, the competition we're up against every week. They just very strong.
You talk about stuff like that. I mean, look at that. I mean, you got yourself, man. There was the first win for you in 2023, but definitely not, you know, the first win of your career because you've been doing it for over 20 years and you've driven different types of race cars. But, getting into this deal, so you got the experience of somebody like you. You've got Daniel Parker. And then you start looking at the young guys who come here, like when Dalton Jacobs comes, man, he is one heck of a wheelman. And look at little Chase Blackwell. I mean, good gracious. I mean, on his second year of racing, what he's accomplished, and already got a win. And he pretty much he runs up front, in the top 2, 3, 5 all of the time. And then, excuse me, you got a guy who's Saturday night, who sits on the outside pole right beside you, Ronnie Long, who is, coming into his own there. And then Bladen Core had the best run of his whole career in a 602 Saturday night, man. So it's just, you've got the seasoned veterans there. You've got young guys, and it's just beginning to mesh, and it's just becoming, man, a great thing to watch at Fayetteville.
Yeah, man, that's the truth. I remember when I was young, I was racing against Chase's daddy, and I was really young like he was, and even Sean Beasley, his son. It's like the tables just turned. They were the older guys, and I was the real young one growing up, and now I'm the older one, and they're the younger ones now, and I mean, you're just gonna have some very good competition years to come.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I love about it, because whenever we have something at Fayetteville, like you said, you got guys who may travel from near and far. But hey, when you come to Fayetteville Motor Speedway, and it's not just the 602 late models, Zach, it's our legend drivers and our modified drivers, even our street stock guys, and anyone else that visits there. Even if you have a big series like the Ultimate Super Late models, if you have the Carolina Clash coming, there are a lot of talented drivers that when you come into the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, these guys are here to protect their house, and you're going to have your hands full, just like you said.
Yep, that's the truth, man. We just got many laps around here, and them boys got the technology and got the people behind them to do it, and they just tough, man. They're very, very tough competitors.
Yeah, well, I wanted to give you an opportunity. We spoke earlier, and talking about Saturday night and what it takes to put on a show like that. And I know that you personally yourself wanted to voice your thanks and gratitude for what that track crew did Saturday night, because what they did is they prepared a stage for you guys to put on a great show. And yeah, there was 5 features maybe before you guys, but man, that track was still good when you guys took the last feature of the night. Let's talk about what you feel, how the track crew did Saturday night at Fayetteville.
Yeah, man, I think they done an amazing job. Dave's about the only track owner around, man, that he stops middle ways after all the heat races, reworks the track, and re-wets it, repacks it, and gets it back in a good condition to have better racing. Man, been around a long time, man, and I'd rather see 2 and 3 wide racing than sit there and holding my safety glasses from dust and tires getting burned off. So I'd rather be there any time of the day late, and knowing I'm gonna have a good track surface. After all them laps Saturday night, we were the last feature, and man, I was telling my daddy, I said that track was as smooth, man, that I couldn't imagine, because I was sitting there thinking, me going out last and everybody else in front of the track, I figured be roughed up, rutted up, but man, it was awesome. Our car go around there and it just set sail, man. I mean, it was handling perfect, didn't have no holes in the track. And it held up that many laps and that many heat races. Man, he's doing a fantastic job with the track.
Well, let's go a step beyond that to say, hey, I'm sitting in my race car. I'm in the staging area. Hey, we're the last feature of the night. Man, this thing's going to be rutted up. We're going to be all over the place. Let's just stick this thing on the floor, turn left, and hope for the best. Now, you just told me and told everyone that, hey, you couldn't have asked for a better racetrack. So let's talk about what it could have been had Dave and Wayne Gray not done what they did during intermission, what the reverse of that or the opposite of that could have been.
Oh yeah, that'd been us buying 3 tires for the next race. And we run that whole feature. We were the last race, and we looked at our tires and not hurt at all. We could run another race on them if we wanted to. They're not hurt, and that helps us, as racers. If we go to a track and we got to buy a tire because it's rubbered up and dust flying, eating the tires off, man, I mean, that's hurting us as racers. So him doing that, I mean, I'm glad he does it. It's done fantastic.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, and I'll send out a little message. Yeah, I'll send out a message, right now to fans who were there. Now, we had a great crowd, Zach. I mean, it was probably hands down the biggest crowd I've ever seen inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, ever. And I mean, I've been going there for a long time. But, before you make a negative comment about, how long it takes, well, take the reverse role and go take the bill of what it takes to operate a race car, what it takes to tear up suspension on a track that's rutted up and torn up all to pieces and burning off tires like Zach Cox is just talking about. When you sit in the stands, you pay to come see racing. And when these guys take the time, just so you know what they're doing, they're out there preparing that stage, to deliver to the drivers a great surface for them to have something to race on, because they're the ones who spend the midnight oil and bust their butt and spend all their hard-earned money to put a race car on the track because they love it, they enjoy it. Well, the fans, you guys love to come and watch it. Why not get what you pay for and just sit there and support the guys as they prep that track and to bring it to life for these race car drivers to put on a heck of a show. Zach, would you agree with that?
Yes, sir. I totally agree with that. That was like, man, if you watch the races on about every restart, you don't know if the high side's going to be the advantage or the bottom. Because I've asked Diddy several times, I'm like, man, I don't know about just choose the top, because every time they go in 1 and 2, most time that top man is going to have the advantage and he's going to come out in front. And if he didn't do that track work, you wouldn't see that. We've been around it so long, man. It would be locked down, follow the leader. Ben, he does that. That's why you've seen the 89 jump up in the top, and he rode by. I don't know where he was at. He passed Ben Watkins, but man, that was a race. That was a race. If the fans didn't enjoy that, man, I don't know, because it was a race.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The 89 of Logan Robertson and the Ultimate Super Late Model race, I put that in the race recap of the Wayne Gray Senior Memorial Race. Yes, the fans got exactly what they paid for. He stuck it up on that high side, and he let that 89 eat, son, and he put on a show. And, talking about, wanting to go to a racetrack and see 2 and 3 wide racing. Well, I remember the day when I would be at Fayetteville and my kids, we would sit in the back of the truck. My 2 sons would be with me and Daddy. Hey, who do you think's going to win the race tonight? We would bet a Pepsi amongst me and my boys. We'd pick whoever. And every single time I said, I tell you what I'm going to do. They'll be side by side coming off of turn 4. Look down at turn 2, and at that little traffic light down there, whoever's leading right there, that's who's going to be the winner. But you don't see that at Fayetteville anymore, because you could have a 50-lap race and 25, 30, 35, 40 laps into the race. If you got some real cars that are very competitive, close to each other in the 3rd, 4th, even back to 5th position, it's still anybody's race, man, because they're racing all over the racetrack.
That's right, man. It's good racing. You don't know who's going to win each week, because it's like there's a different winner every single week. Somebody else is in victory lane. It's like they've made some adjustments. The track's got moisture in it this week, and it's just awesome, man. He's got it going on now.
Well, let's talk about for the Cox Racing crowd. You guys there from Lumberton, North Carolina. What's up next on the schedule for you guys? What are maybe some goals for you and your team for 2023? I know you're going to be with us, a regular visitor at Fayetteville Motor Speedway, or at least I hope you will anyway. Kind of talk about some things that you guys look to do between now for the remaining part of 2023.
Man, right now we just hitting around. We want to run our crate, because my son's fitting to, run next year crate in the open wheel. So trying to figure out all I can figure out about the crate stuff. When he gets in his crate stuff, next year, I don't know if I'm running super limited. I don't know. But right now we're just hitting the crate, and then we might hit some super shows here and there. Just trying to stay close to home. We're doing so much with our church and stuff right now, and just trying not to do no traveling. And, I just enjoy racing with Jaws, and the competition, like I said earlier, the competition's so tough. I know when I'm going to Fayetteville with me and my son, I'm going to be running against like the best around. So if I go traveling, I feel like I can learn just as much here at home instead of driving 2 and 3 hours away. Because, if you run them these boys and you outrun them, you've done something, because they do their homework now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And really, man, for the remaining part of 2023 season, man, we want to wish you the best of luck. We hope your son has a very speedy recovery from having his back surgery. I know he's still out for the whole entire year of 2023. We wish him luck and look forward to seeing him jump into that 602 Sport Modified next year. And before we jump off the show tonight, let's give you an opportunity to talk about maybe some of the sponsors that you have and some guys that help you. I know it's a big family tradition with the Cox, but I know your dad's there all the time. Let's talk about some of the guys that help you, because you didn't get that thing in Victory Lane and have a performance like you did Saturday night without some help from somebody.
Yeah, man, I want to thank my daddy, man. My daddy's in this shop every day of the week, man. If he's working on the car, he's working on the transfer truck, the hauler, he's here every day, Monday through Friday, working on this car. I got to thank Jeff, Scott, Kevin Godwin, man. We go way back with him. He helps us. We help him. Man, and with our sponsors, we got to thank Clayton Homes from Lumberton. And just come on board this year, we got Happy Floor International. And I think, man, they're great people. They come from a racing family, and he come on board this year, told him, about what it take, and he no question to ask. Here it is. Let's do it. Let's roll with it. So that's something we're looking for. I wish one day I could take Cox's flooring off and then somebody else take that role and just let me drive. But, but it is what it is. And we'll just take it as we go along. And I just appreciate you having me on the show, man, and hope to be there the next time y'all have a race.
All right, race fans, that is Zach Cox out of Lumberton, North Carolina, driver the number 40, Clayton Homes, Cox Flooring, picking up his first win of the 2023 season this past weekend in the Wayne Gray Senior Memorial Race at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Zach, thanks so much, man, for taking time to be on the show, and we look to see you again soon in Racing for Heroes Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man.
All right, folks, you've been watching another Inside edition of the Voice of Victory Lane podcast. As we close tonight's show, we'll hear from Atwell Exterior Services out of Greenville, North Carolina. Thanks so much for watching the show tonight. And hey, just like we say on every other show as we close, be on the lookout. We could be coming to a racetrack near you, and you could be who we're talking about next, right here on the Voice of Victory Lane podcast. Good night, everybody.
Atwell Exterior Services and Team Atwell ride with a winner. Congratulations to Trevor Atwell and the team at Atwell Exterior Services in Greenville, North Carolina. Atwell is the top-rated roofing and exterior renovations company in racing country, and Team Atwell has sponsored so many great racing teams for years. Ride with a winner on your roof or on the track. Atwell Exterior Services. Atwell Exterior Services and Team Atwell Racing. Ride with a winner.